let's go ahead and get started. Tonight's kit is about gelatos. That's the majority of what we're doing tonight. In addition to tonight's kit, I pulled out some extra little things from my stash. Everything I use tonight, with the exception of maybe a couple of the background stamps you can get at the boutique. But I encourage you, if there's something I use tonight that you want to talk to the boutique design team and see if they can't find it for you. I will always put a resource there for you guys, up on the blog. So down in the description below of this video, there will be a blog post link that will have all the information for every supply I use tonight, even if it's not available. But you guys, hi Laura, you guys, I encourage you to use what's in your stash for some of this stuff, because in addition to teaching the kit, I try to teach you ways to use up your stash and use up all of your extra pieces and parts that you have laying around, like scraps and things like that. So are you guys ready to get started? Let me show you the kit. We're going to use this stencil from Heidi Swapp, which is, it's a square lattice stencil is the name of it. I know some people were having trouble finding it because Heidi Swapp doesn't label her names on her products, which I'm not sure why. Yes, use what's in your stash, okay? Now, I've pulled out, this is that standard gift wrap tissue paper, and I've just cut it to 4x6 size. So I'm going to show you tonight how to make some custom tissue papers to use with your mixed media projects. So I have a stash of that sitting off to the side. I also have some masking tape. I got this at an art supply store, but the blue tape or just standard masking tape will work. I just happened to pull this up. In the kit tonight, you have, this was part of the kit, we have this Bo Bunny sentiment stamp. And I thought when I was picking this out, I thought this was a good versatile stamp set that you could use in your stash from here till eternity. It will never go out of style. It has everything you need for any type of card ever. So we're going to use that tonight. And then let me pull out what's in the kit, and then we'll talk about what I have extra. And then we have the star of tonight's show, the Gelatos from Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft. And this is the set that we're going to use tonight, and I'm going to do everything in my power to only use these colors tonight. These are such versatile colors, and whenever I get ready to show you how to use them, you guys are going to be amazed at what all we can do with those. And just 4 colors. And also in the kit, we got a little sample pack of the gesso, the gel medium, and the glaze. So isn't that awesome? So you got a little sampler pack there if you don't already have those in your stash. And then we also got the Tim Holtz Distress Watercolor Cardstock. Now this isn't any different than any other cardstock, watercolor cardstock. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on as well. So in addition to all of that, this is what I've pulled out. I have some embossing powder here. You can use the white or the clear, either one. And then we also have, I've pulled out some stamps, just stamps from my stash. And then I've also pulled out my stencils from my stash. I'm going to try and stick to the one for tonight, but I want to show you guys how versatile everything is. So you can use it with just about anything. So I've just pulled out some texture stamps. I know these are in the store because I got these from the store. Aren't they awesome? Look at this. They're made by Stampendous, and this is called the Grunge set. These are the Wired. The set's called Wired. And then I also pulled out this set. These are great for mixed media. Just a great generic mixed media. If you're new to mixed media, these stamp sets also have a stencil inside of them as well. So this one is called Grunge. I think this is my favorite one because this is really the one I use the most. And then I have this one, which is called Mish Mesh. It has a lot of mesh patterns to it. And then I've just also pulled out, was one of those old dollar stamps that I got 100 years ago, and this is just some random butterflies. I'm going to use the butterfly on that. So just pull out some butterflies out of your stash. And then I have this one that's a dollar stamp. It's just a little chevron pattern, washi tape patterns. Again, I encourage you to go to your stash and look for things that are just pattern shapes. And we may or may not use these. I just pulled them out just in case. And then I've also got, in addition, I'm going to recommend that you guys use a Versa ink pad for your embossing powders. And then also, if you've never used one of these tools, this is called a Stamp-A-Ma-Jig. For one of the stamping techniques, I'm going to recommend that you have one of these handy. And we will have them all in the shop. Okay? And then what else do we have? Oh, I just have some random stencils. I don't even know if I'll use those. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of these cards out, and we're going to talk about watercolor paper for just a minute. Watercolor paper is a cold press, and if you can see, there's a texture to it. I don't know if the light's going to pick it up or not. But this is a textured watercolor paper, and the back side of it is generally somewhat smooth, and one side of it is usually got a nice texture finish on it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, the first card technique I want to share with you guys is, I want to do some resist with these gelatos. I want to show you just how amazing they are. Blending different ways. There's a million ways you can use these gelatos. Now, one thing I want to say is I am not going to open the sample pack, but all of the mediums I use today are available in the sample pack. I just have them in bigger jars, and I'm going to use those up because I like to save these for when I travel. Now, the gelatos come in usually sets, and these sets are called a mix and match set system. And the cool thing about the mix and match system from Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft is that you can mix these with any of their mediums, and they always do all the homework for you, and they make sure that everything matches. So if you want to grab a pink from the gelato system, you can grab the pink from the pit pens or pink from the pastel pens, and they are always going to match. So they take all of the guesswork out of things matching or not matching. Hi, Elaine. So the colors that we have today are snow cone, watermelon, margarita, and raspberry. And I'm going to show you how to make some additional colors from those. And the first technique I want to share with you is going to be taking all of those stamps that you have from the Bo Bunny stamp set, and we're going to create a background. Has anyone ever heard of a wordle before, or a word cloud? Well, let me explain it to you. A word cloud is actually where you take a bunch of different words and you form a shape with them. So what I've done is I've taken all of my stamps off of the stamp thing, and I've made this like word cloud right here on my stamp pad. Okay? New term. So we're going to create a word cloud here. We have all of these words. Now I've used the congratulations, the happy birthday. Maybe you can see them better going this way. Hi. Hi friend, enjoy, hello, oh happy day, happy birthday. So I just thought, even though they don't say happy birthday, like some say hi and some say hello, I just thought they'd make a really cool background for a stamp. Hi Karen, congratulations on winning the 700 subby giveaway on YouTube. That is awesome. Welcome to our channel. So, and guys, the Scrapbook Boutique has contests all the time. They're always constantly playing games and having fun, so go check them out. So I'm going to use my Versa ink pad, and I'm going to add some Versa ink to this. I want to make sure I get a really good coverage on this. and I'm going to add it straight to the cardstock. Okay. And it doesn't matter which way this is going, or if things come off the edge, or it doesn't matter. And it's going to be hard for you guys to see it on video right now, but hang with me, it'll come up. So this time, I think for a little bit of interest, I might turn it a little bit. I had it this way the first time I did it, so this time I might go this way with it. And I want to make sure you can kind of see here. Oh, and I'm on the smooth side of the cardstock. You want to make sure you're going, maybe, let's put it here, like this. And then I'm going to ink it up one more time. And I'm going to add it straight down here to the bottom. This time I'm going to rotate it a little more, and I'm going to fill up this entire card with this image. And I've got a little spot right here where no ink has adhered yet. So let me pull it up where I can see how much. And I think what I'm going to do is, I have another stamping block over here. I'm just going to pull off a word or two that I think might work. And I'm going to add that one right there. And again, guys, hang with me. It's going to be hard to see until I get all of the ink on here. It'll all come to life in just a minute, and you'll say, oh my word. Okay, and let's put one more right there in that corner. Okay, now I'm going to take, and I just have a piece of paper here that I'm going to put down. And I'm going to use this white embossing powder. I'm just going to cover that really well. I think one of the things I really love about mixed media is that it really doesn't have to be perfect, and you can sort of let go of that piece of you that wants everything to be clean and perfect and pretty, and you can kind of let go of that a little bit and be a little free with what you're doing. Okay? Now, don't worry so much if maybe something didn't go down all the way, like that E is missing in enjoy. I'm going to take and scoop this all back up into my jar and try one more time to see if maybe I just didn't hit it with powder. And let's see here. No, I didn't press hard enough, but you guys get the idea. And I'm going to try really hard tonight to not make a huge giant mess, but you know me, that may not be possible. Now I want to heat this with my heat gun. So while I'm doing that, does anybody have any questions? No, I didn't. I probably should have, but I didn't pull it out, so you know, I just go with it. It doesn't have to be perfect for mixed media. I didn't use a dust bag, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. Now remember, we're also stamping on watercolor paper, so it's possible that we're not going to get a good coverage either because of the texture in the watercolor paper. But it's okay. Be free. Let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. Now, and I will say that probably a pattern would be better than trying to use a bunch of words, but I just thought it would be nice to try this. Since this is the stamp set that we chose. Let me flip this around because my hands are getting hot. And heat emboss this. You can kind of see a little bit from the shine. Now this is where that stamp-a-ma-jig may come in handy. Okay, because I noticed that the word enjoy, the E on enjoy, didn't show up all that well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my stamp pad, and I'm going to take something I can see, and I'm going to stamp it onto my Stamp-A-Majig. I'm going to show you guys how to use this thing. If you're new to stamping and you're stamping challenged as I am, this is the Stamp-A-Majig. This one is made by EK Success, and it comes with this piece of plastic, and it comes with this guy. And I'm going to butt this up. This is like a T-square right here, and I'm going to butt this piece of plastic up to it, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp it onto the plastic. Okay? Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up with that word enjoy that didn't stamp all the way, right here. I'm going to line it up just like that. Then I'm going to line my T-square up, and I'm going to clean my stamp really well because I don't want that red to show up on anything. So I'm going to make sure it is stamped, it is cleaned off really well, and I'm going to probably stamp it onto a paper towel off to the side over here so that I'm quite certain that it didn't. Now I'm going to carefully, without moving this paper, I'm going to very carefully lift this up and move it out of the way. Now I'm going to, I lost my stamp. Where did it go? When I wiped it off, I dropped it. And it may never be seen again. Do you guys have problems with that? I dropped my stamp. Hold on. Hold the fort. I gotta find it. Do you guys ever have problems like that where you drop something and you're like, whoa, where did it go? Well, for time's sake, it was a great technique I was going to show you, but now I've lost my stamp. I don't know where it went. So we won't be enjoying that technique. So let's move on. I'm sorry, but theoretically what would happen is I would stamp this again and it would line up perfectly, and I'd heat emboss it and it would work. Okay, but it's down in that abyss I call Lafleur that I will never see it again. Ever, ever, ever. Okay, so now let's work on our gelatos. What I want to do is I want this to be festive and fun. It's a birthday card. So I'm going to start out with this watermelon. Notice this is not treated. I took it right out of the package. And I'm just going to give a very liberal amount of this color right over the top. Then I'm going to come in with the margarita. Now when you're mixing gelatos, or any color for that matter, you always want to stick with warm colors with warm colors, cool colors with cool colors, to avoid mud. And this particular yellow has a lot of green in it, so I'm going to try really hard not to muddy it up. But you guys are going to love this. Now remember, this is not treated. There is no gesso on this in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to just take a baby wipe. When you're messing with gelatos, I highly recommend lots of baby wipes. You want to have them handy, or dampened paper towels. And I'm just going to, in a circular motion, staying in my pink, I'm going to rub that into the cardstock. And now look at how it is, where the embossing powder is, it resisted the gelato color. So it's going to make a really interesting background for us. Okay? Isn't that cool? It's like magic. Now I'm going to come over in a new area of my paper towel. I'm going to come over here to this side, and I'm going to smooth this in. Now where I overlap, because these are two warm colors, they're going to blend really nicely together and make like a peachy orange color. Okay? Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to take another area of this baby wipe that hasn't been used, and very lightly I'm going to dust right over the top. Whoops. And I don't want to get too much of that yellow onto my pink, because I don't want to contaminate that pink area. Okay, now look at how cool that is, and now we have a ready-made happy birthday card all done. How about that? Isn't that cool? So there's one technique we could do. Super simple, very easily done, very nice. And look, that's all the stamps on that one stamp set. We made a beautiful background just using the stamps on the stamp set. So you guys like that? Okay, so now let's move on to our next technique. And this time I'm going to take and I'm going to prep this surface with some gesso, which you have a small sample of gesso in your packet. Now, if you want this color to be even more vibrant, all you have to do is go over it one more time. And the more layers you add to it, the richer the color will become. Okay? So you guys like that? And because these are two warm colors, they complement each other so you don't get mud. So that's how you avoid the mud. Okay? So I'm going to throw that baby wipe away because I don't want to contaminate it. And we'll come back and make this into a card later, but we're going to put it to the side and let it dry. Now we're going to work on another piece. And this time I want to prep the surface with some gesso to show you guys how this works with gesso. Because these take on a completely different look when there's gesso. Now I'm being quite liberal here with the gesso because this is watercolor paper and I really want to get into the ridges of these watercolor texture. Okay. Now I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to let it dry for just a second. This is the gessoed one. I'm going to put it over here and let it dry for just a second. We're going to move on to something else because there's another technique I want to show you, but all these mediums have to have time to dry before we can keep moving on. Now, I told you about the tissue paper. Really fast, I want to go ahead and pull that back out because I want to try that. Everyone loves the tissue tape by Tim Holtz, correct? I mean, who doesn't love it? How could you not love it? I mean, it's just amazing. So, if you don't have any of that, because it isn't available everywhere, and I realize that, here's a fun way that you can create the same sort of look, but with stamps that you have in your stash, and either an archival ink pad, or I'm going to use the Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft Pitt Big Brush Artist Pen in black today. And I have this stamp. This is from Stampendous. It's an old stamp. I've had it for ages, and it's just a bunch of dictionary. I'm sure there's lots of them out there that you could substitute out for this, but I'm going to use this one. And I'm just going to color liberally over these sections of the dictionary paper. Now this particular stamp, these dictionary phrases happen to be phrases that are celebratory, which goes with our happy birthday theme. And I'm just going to give it a really good once over. And I don't even care if it's perfect. I prefer that it not be. And I'm just going to stamp that right directly onto that tissue paper. And like I said, I don't care that there's holes in it. That's really the look I'm after. Okay? Let me see if I can add just a little more color down here. Did Cindy ever show up? If she did, happy birthday, Cindy. I know she said she was going to come after she finished dinner. Okay, now notice that it's not perfect, and that's okay. That is okay that it's not perfect. Okay? That's actually what I'm after. Now I'm going to take these butterfly stamps that I showed you guys earlier, and I'm going to stamp one of these butterflies on there. So again, I'm using the Pitt pen. And you can use an ink pad. There's no reason why you couldn't use an ink pad for this. Get it good and wet. Now, you can blow on it just a little bit to get it ink activated. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to stamp that butterfly right there. I'm going to stamp another one there, maybe something else there, and something else there. Now the cool thing about these Pitt pens is that they go on temporary, but they dry permanent. So once this is dry, it's completely permanent. And the cool thing about these is that these pens travel so nicely. They fit really nicely in your overhead compartment, so you can take them with you if you're on an airplane. And look at how cool that tissue paper is now. We've just made our own tissue paper. Okay? I know the chat keeps going out, and I apologize. I mean, the Ustream keeps kicking me out, and I apologize for that. But that's why I'm recording on a separate device, so that you guys can see me. You can see what I did tomorrow. I hate Ustream sometimes. Okay. So then I'm going to come back, and I want to show you how these will work on these jelly pens. Hi, Lamore. So then I'm just going to stamp those right there. Just give a really good, nice, fun texture to that. Notice how well these stamped right onto those jelly pens. Awesome. Put one here, maybe the tail of one here. See how cool that is? Now we're going to use this on, this is our gessoed surface, and it has had time to dry now. Let me clean this up really good. And I'm just going to take some matte medium, and I'm going to put down, or this is the gel medium, and I'm just going to put down a little bit right onto, I'm going to just use my finger. Pour a little bit in this cap. I probably need a new jar. Let me scoop some of it out. I've got a popsicle stick here, and just scoop some out here and stick it right there. And now I'm just going to take this, and this is, remember, this is our gessoed surface, and I'm just going to take pieces of this tissue paper, break it up, and you know, if you had the Tim Holtz tissue paper, or if you had a tissue paper that was already pre-printed, by all means use it. I just want to show you guys how these gelatos work on so many different surfaces. I mean, every surface just takes the color so well. And then I'm just going to break up some of this over here and put it down. Hi, Lamore. So we're just going to put that right there. So part of our surface here has gesso, part of it has matte medium and tissue paper. Okay. Now I'm going to just dry this so that it's not sticky. Anybody have any questions? And you guys, I'm going to tell you straight up, there's so many things you can do with gelatos. I mean, they are just amazing. We did the warm colors last time. We're going to do the cool colors this time. L'Amour is an amazing source for, you know, how to use these as well. So, you know, by all means, go check out her channel. She has a lot of techniques with these as well. Now, I'm just going to start applying color. Okay? And I want to keep all of this blue right in here. This is my favorite color. And I'm going to throw some of this purple in here, right here. Now I'm going to show you guys how to transition between the cool colors to a warm color out here on the edges. And the trick of it is that when you use a cool color, like blue's a primary color, red's a primary color, yellow is a primary color, you want to have a transitional color between that contains the two colors. So for example, in this example, I have this pink, and pink can be found in purple and blue can be found in purple. So by putting purple between the warm color and the cool color, I am able to achieve a color without mud. Okay, I have this question asked all the time. How do you avoid the mud? Well, that's how. Okay, so now it doesn't seem like a whole lot of anything at this point, does it? But when I grab my baby wipe out and I start blending, this time, because there is a prep surface underneath, the color is going to fade out a little bit and become a little more pastel. So when your gelatos are mixed with the gessoed bottom, you get a more pastel version of the color. Now I've rotated my baby wipe a little bit, and I'm going to press into this area where the purple is. Okay, then I'm going to rotate it one more time because I don't want purple in my pink and I don't want purple in my blue, so I'm just going to keep rotating my baby wipe. And since I have the pink up, I'm going to just go ahead and use it here. Go back to the purple and blend this out. And now look at how we've managed to add these colors without mud. Okay, but now let's take it one step further. Let's let this dry for just a second. Does anybody have any questions? Oh my goodness, I don't know how in the world you could not love these. Think of gelatos as pigment sticks. They're just color. It's just full of color. Now I'm going to take my stencil that we got, and over where the blue is, I'm a fresh section of my baby wipe with the stencil down. I am going to start in a circular motion and lift back some of the color that is on the blue stencil, or that is on the background. Don't overthink it. Don't spend too much time on it. The reason we're using watercolor paper here is because it's tough and it can withstand a lot of moisture. Now look at what has happened. We have now resisted and created a fabulous background. Isn't that cool? So I've taught you two ways to have a resist. Okay, so now you have two ways here that we have now built out a resist. And look at this, how cool is this? So here we used embossing powder, and here we used just gesso. Isn't that cool? So versatile. Now, if you want this to have a little richer pigment, I would recommend coming back in with your gelato and using your finger to blend. So now we've used a baby wipe to blend, and now we're using our finger to blend. And we're going to take a little more purple. I'm going to stay out of my blue area because that's where my resist was. And I'm going to use a different finger for the purple. And look at how awesome that is. Look at that rich, vibrant pigment compared to down here. Isn't that cool? So does anybody have any questions so far?